So I'm listening to Carrie Newhoff's podcast, and he's talking with Warren Bird about revitalization. And one of the things that they said just really struck me, and I wanted to share it today. Revitalization, in my mind, was when a church is dying. You know, they're losing members, they aren't really involved in the community, and the church is probably going to shut its door in a couple of years because they really cannot financially support it anymore because they're not growing. They just don't have, they've definitely plateaued, and they're probably losing people over time, especially younger people. To me, revitalization was turning that around. But what they said, what really got my attention, is revitalization doesn't have to be about numbers. It can be about just being involved in the community and having people on mission for the church. And when you put it in those terms, I think nearly, unless it's a church plant, or you're just a rapidly growing church, and yeah, shoot, I'm going to scratch that. Even rapidly growing churches could use revitalization. The problem is, the thing that I'm aiming for is revitalization needs to be where the people of God are on mission with God, for the glory of God, for the purposes of God, for the mission of the church. So the church needs to be making disciples. It needs to be out involved serving the community. It needs to be preaching the gospel, helping those in need, and being a light in the darkness, and letting their good works glorify God. I mean, a lot more than that, but that's kind of a nutshell of it. And most church members aren't doing that. There are church attenders. They might serve in some capacity at the church, but the church is not going out and sharing the good news of Jesus in any meaningful way. And the people in the church are not serving in the community in an impactful way for the glory of God. Not just community service because it's a nice thing to do, but hey, we're giving God glory specifically for this and telling people that the reason why they're being blessed today by this group of people is because God has changed their lives. And so churches that are not doing that need revitalization. It doesn't matter if they're growing 10 members a week and they're becoming a mega church. It doesn't matter if they are banking it with blowing the budget out of the water where they have no financial worries. Those things are secondary to the revitalization of people's hearts for the glory of God and the mission of God in their local community. And to me, that was wow. Because most churches are not doing that, and it's rare to find a church that does that long term, which is why, just like as an individual, I need to renew my heart. I need to stoke the flames of my heart for God, so I'm passionate about God. Churches need to do that as well. Because it's easy to get complacent, get comfortable, get used to the way things are. And when you grow, there's change. People don't like change, so at some point you tend to stagnate. And we had to actively work against that and make it part of our culture as a church to want to grow, to want to glorify God through that growth, both spiritual growth, people self-sacrificing and serving and relying on God and growing in their purity and their knowledge of the Word and their application of the Word, and becoming better husbands and wives and community members and employees and all that good stuff. But doing it in such a way where the church is expanding, where they're doing church plants, where they're building new community groups, because people are changing and God is being glorified in the community, not just growing a local church. Food for thought.